This is Scottish TV's HQ on the banks of the River Clyde.
And today I'm going to meet up with one of their top journalists, Polly Bartlett, and follow her on a news story she'll be given.
Amazingly, Polly films all of her local news stories on her smartphone, and today she's agreed to help me test 3 of the latest. We're going to produce a news story on each phone, and the winning footage will be broadcast on the 6 o'clock news.
So, Polly, what sort of phone do you use at the moment?
I use an iPhone 8.
And what sort of things do you look for when you're choosing a phone yourself?
Ooh, a really good camera, good sound as well, because we record a lot of voiceovers and interviews on the phones as well.
Camera's clearly very important. Is a big phone a disadvantage or an advantage?
I think it is an advantage. You can see more on the screen.
So I've got 3 phones here today to try. First and the cheapest one is a OnePlus 7T.
This has 4 cameras, 3 on the back and 1 on the front, and a 6.55-inch AMOLED display with a super fast, super smooth 90Hz refresh rate.
We've also got the Samsung Galaxy Note 10 Plus, which has a 6.8-inch screen.
This has no less than 5 cameras, 4 on the back and 1 on the front, and comes with a stylus.
And finally, the latest iPhone, the 11 Pro Max, a 6.5-inch screen.
This has 4 cameras, 3 on the back and 1 on the front, and a battery that Apple claim lasts 5 hours longer than its predecessor, the iPhone XS Max.
I'm really intrigued to see how the new camera works and looks. But I'm going to have to run into a meeting, John. I'm really sorry.
Can I come? I'll bring the phones.
I'm gate-crashing the daily news briefing. How exciting.
Right, so away from Brexit, other things in the schedule today, there's one called Devil. Polly's going to take a look at this one.
So we're going up to the Devil's Pulpit, which is one of Scotland's kind of most famous beauty spots. The paths are totally worn down, and the landowner is calling for basically new facilities to be built.
Right, OK, have a good day, everybody.
So our assignment is on, and while we're on our way to the Devil's Pulpit, Polly gets to know the phones a little better.
So let's start with the OnePlus.
You know, at a first glance, it's a really nice shape. I think it fits in your hand quite well.
This is the tallest and narrowest of the 3 phones, and it runs Oxygen, an Android operating system.
It does have a really nice keyboard, actually. And you can easily text in one hand, which is a crucial feature, I think, for a phone.
Right.
It's nice, yeah.
Time for the Samsung.
It's got a super AMOLED screen. It's meant to be less reflective, very good in strong light.
Should I send a tweet?
So a tweet. So yes, so you can post a tweet.
Should I say off to the Devil's Pulpit?
Yes.
I've just deleted something by mistake. This is going horribly wrong, this tweet.
Is it?
The screen is a lot more sensitive, I think, than the other one.
It's also a bit too hefty for Polly's liking.
It doesn't feel as nice to hold. I feel like I could drop it quite easily.
If you get fed up with actually manipulating the keyboard, it has a stylus.
Do you know, this could actually be really helpful because sometimes if you're in court or at a press conference, you're trying to furiously take down notes on your phone or on your laptop, when actually it could be a lot quicker just to annotate on your phone and then send, a picture of the screen. Hello from Scotland. Yeah! Wow! That's so cool.
Finally, the iPhone.
So it's got a faster processor and everything. It just might have that little extra edge.
In fact, the 11 Max is 20% more powerful than the iPhone XS Max.
It's a bigger phone than the one you normally use. What's it like to hold?
Yeah, it's a lot heavier, I think, than the other ones.
That's partly down to the bigger battery.
Is it?
Yeah.
It is, again, a bit of a stretch with one hand. It's not particularly comfortable trying to text.
So, on first impressions, which one's Polly's favourite?
What really surprised me was how easy the OnePlus was to use. And I think that I grasped it a lot quicker than I managed to grasp the Samsung. So definitely this is the one that's kind of winning for me at the moment.
The underdog has caught Polly's attention, and now we've arrived at our location, it's almost time to start recording our news story. But first, a quick look at each phone's cameras.
So we'll start with the OnePlus. This has 3 cameras on the back. It's got a 48-megapixel main camera, a super wide 16-megapixel camera, and a 2 times optical zoom on a 12-megapixel camera.
This phone can record 4K footage at 60 frames per second, and it has both optical and digital image stabilization.
Wow, and a really easy zoom, which is quite nice as well.
Next, the Samsung, which boasts a 16-megapixel main camera, a 16-megapixel wide-angle and a 12-megapixel telephoto. And it has electronic stabilization that should help iron out any wobbles.
Well, it's early days yet, but it does seem to be a bit more stable.
And this phone has the upper hand when it comes to storage.
With the Samsung, you can put in memory cards, expand the storage, you can actually get up to 1 terabyte of storage in the phone.
Finally, the iPhone.
3 cameras on the back, this time all 12 megapixel, a super wide, normal wide view and a 2x optical zoom like the others. Apple are making a big thing about the way you can switch between the lenses without any sort of stutter mid-video.
Brilliant.
Now we're heading down to the Devil's Pulpit to record some interviews about the improvement of facilities at this busy tourist spot.
Here, we're going to put one of 4 bridges, footbridges, across the gorge.
Because Polly has a deadline, she won't have time to film each interview on each phone. So the Gadget Show crew are getting involved too. And all of the audio's being recorded using the smartphone's built-in microphones.
Tell me then, what's the best thing that you do with your guests down here?
It's untouched by man. And what I like to do is wade through the water sometimes with my guests.
With our story in the can, it's time to hot-foot it back to base to edit the footage and get the winning video ready for broadcast. First up, the OnePlus. But Polly's not impressed.
It looks like it's got a really strange contrast on it. Like, it looks almost like it's been Instagram filtered.
Looks quite unnatural, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, so that's it zoomed out. Zoom in.
Yes. It doesn't look that smooth either, I have to say.
And all you can hear is wind.
So I think with the poor white balance and the lack of sound quality and the lack of image stabilization all count against the OnePlus, I think.
Yeah.
What about the Samsung?
So you can see a lot of depth. And here, really still, doesn't move at all.
So the Samsung's image stabilization is very impressive. Yeah. And it's handling that white balance much better than the OnePlus, isn't it? You actually get a proper autumn day in Scotland.
Yeah.
What about sound quality?
In order to reduce that risk to people, what our proposal is...
It was better than the OnePlus, but you could still hear a lot of background noise.
And so that leaves the iPhone.
There we go. And it does look brilliant. I mean, you can see all the way up there. I quite like the way the light is reflecting down as well.
Yes.
So it's nice and fresh today.
The sound, I think, is a lot better. You can hear me.
Brilliant, thank you.
Oh, yes. It seems a higher quality sound altogether, actually. Yes. Certainly than the OnePlus, and also it has the edge on the Samsung.
Definitely, definitely.
So which video will Polly be running on the 6 o'clock news?
I think for my job, it has to be the iPhone, because it's got that brilliant image and really good sound quality.
Oh, I'm sorry, is it freezing?
Well, John, Polly seemed pretty certain. How about you?
I agree with Polly. On the day, the iPhone certainly had the edge in terms of video and sound quality.
And did her report make it onto the news?
Yes, it did, and here's a bit of it.
The Devil's Pulpit is one of Scotland's most popular beauty spots. Polly Bartlett went to find out more.
The Devil's Pulpit is one of Scotland's most popular...
Oh, look at those wonderful autumnal Scottish colours, the dynamic range. And the sound quality is good on the interview coming up, where you can really hear it over the background noise.
I can't believe they're broadcasting mobile phone footage. That's brilliant.
And I think there was a bit of a worry that Apple was falling behind, but these improvements to the camera have brought it right up there to the top of the pile again. And I wouldn't hesitate to recommend one of these if you can afford it.